Never mind, I got him.
You just shanked him to death! Dude! What the fuck?
How you love that?
You mad lad, you fucking shanked him to death.
How you love that? I made that guy my bitch.
Hopefully. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Pelican 1 preparing to depart. Shuttle launch in 20 seconds.
Reinforcement budget depleted.
Guys, watch this. Oh my god! Oh, they just broke through. I'm out of here. I'm going back to Rocket. Get out of there, Rocket. Yeah, that was your boy. That was your boy. And these things will go in the water. They're not afraid of it. I don't know where this guy is. Oh, fuck! Nope.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh
Nope.
shit, oh shit, oh shit,
Nope.
oh shit!
Nope. Oh shit. I'm dead for sure.
Let's shoot the samples.
What's that? I grabbed these samples.
Right. Get me in. Give me a real gun. If you have one up.
Come on, come
Negative
on.
7 minutes.
Sucker. Dasha. saved you.
Have a taste of democracy!
What up, y'all? Welcome into the stream. So, big news. Before I even explain what's going on, I woke up to get ready for the stream and saw that they delayed Dune Awakening until June 5th. So they gave themselves an extra 3 weeks. Let's, while we're waiting, I'll bring up the Discord message and see what their reasons are. It's not that big a deal. It's only 3 weeks, but just the same, let's see. Dear sleepers, these are exciting times. We're closing in on launch, and we've just initiated a major preview beta where hundreds of journalists and content creators are playing the early parts of the game and will be releasing their coverage on April 25th. That's not me, because I've applied to every beta they've ever had. They haven't let me in. These past few weeks, we've been steadily gearing up, releasing the character creator and benchmark mode back in February, starting pre-orders in March, and continuing to release new live streams, videos, and details to keep you informed. We want to thank everyone who has shared in our excitement. It's been a joy reading all your comments across the various community channels. Our ongoing persistent closed beta is also continuing in full force, with regular updates, and the feedback we've been collecting from beta testers has been invaluable in making sure we can launch a quality game. We have a very active Discord with our beta testers. We have a very active Discord going with our beta testers, where our developers can interact directly with them to ensure we collaboratively make Dune Awakening a better game. Thanks to this process, we've concluded that with a bit more time to cook, we can act on a lot more of the feedback we know is important to our beta testers. As such, we will be moving the release date of Dune Awakening to June 10th, with Head Start launching on June 5th. This is not a decision we take lightly. We know everyone is very excited to get playing, but these 3 extra weeks will give us the time needed to make improvements that will lead to a better gameplay experience from day one. We're also excited about the fact that this will allow us to do a large-scale beta weekend next month, where even more of you will get the opportunity to play the game and share your feedback. We will release more information about this soon. Dune Awakening is a beast of a game. This is multiplayer survival on a massive scale, and we're making gameplay and technical strides not seen in the genre before. We want to make sure we stick the landing. Also, don't forget to tune into today's live stream on Steam, YouTube, and Twitch, where our developers will be showing and talking more about the combat in Dune Awakening. With best regards from the entire Dune Awakening team here at Funcom. So, what does this say again? It says, we want to make sure we stick the landing. This is multiplayer survival on a massive scale, and we're making gameplay and technical strides not seen in this genre before. We want to make sure we stick the landing. I mean, like, what can they do with 3 extra weeks That's the question I have. Like, okay, they want to make sure they stick the landing. How is 3 extra weeks going to make sure that they stick the landing? 3 weeks. I don't know. I mean, I think they wanted to do a large-scale beta, which they talk about here. Like, I've seen them mention this a few times in the past, and I don't think they were going to get a chance to do it. So I think by extending this out, they get a chance to... Exactly. They get a chance to let people into the servers, more people, a lot more people. And maybe figure out like whatever kinks are going to be in the servers before, like, come launch day. They'll get them out before launch day. So launch day will be actually smooth and everybody will get to play. That's what I think. Because 3 weeks just isn't... Like, the game's not going to get that much more polished in 3 weeks. But you can stress test the servers. And... yeah, exactly. That's what I think also. Fight Like Hell is... you're just stress testing the servers and basically getting a lot of people in for a large-scale beta weekend. Hit the servers hard. Get whatever stats you can from that. Increase, I don't know, server capacity or whatever you need to do. And then you'll be ready for launch. And I think that's what it's all about. I don't think they're actually really going to be making changes to the game itself as much as the servers. But, you know, I experienced something not quite like this. So I experienced... with Darktide, Warhammer 40k Darktide, which was a very important game for me personally. It was like the game I was most looking forward to a few years ago. Very similar to Dune Awakening, where like everything on the channel was kind of pointing towards Warhammer 40k Darktide, and they delayed it a few times. Not by 3 weeks. I think at first they delayed it by like 60 days, and they delayed it a few times. And it still came out like shit. It came out in a very messed up state. So the fact that they're saying we want to make sure we stick the landing, we're making gameplay and technical strides not seen in the genre before. It could be just wishful thinking on my part. It's possible. It is. It's difficult to be 100% objective because I am looking forward to this game so much. It's hard to do that. But, hold on, let's reload this. I don't think we're ready yet. I think we're still waiting. Yeah, we're still waiting. We want to make sure we stick the landing. And I think what that means is it's all about servers. It's all about making sure that there's not huge bottlenecks. Darktide was delayed by a whole year in total, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't even going to look it up. I can't remember anymore, but I remember it being like a few major delays. So, 3 weeks, I think, is just for servers, is to have the chance to do this large-scale beta weekend, get a lot of people in, stress test, see what breaks, what doesn't, what they need, whatever they need to do to make sure that there's a smooth launch day on June 5th and an even smoother launch day on June 10th when the larger player base. I think a lot of people are going to purchase the June 5th version, the Ultimate Edition. Well, there's 2 editions that I think there's like a Deluxe and Ultimate Edition where you get a head start on June 5th, so 5 days head start. And then the base game is June 10th. And I think a lot of people are going to purchase the June 5th edition. So they're really going to get hit on June 5th. And then they'll get hit again on June 10th with even more players. And I think they just want to make sure everything goes smooth and there's not a bunch of hiccups. So it's not Darktide in so much as they're not delaying it months. They're delaying it 3 weeks. And like I said, which sounds to me like they want that opportunity. We're also excited about the fact that this will allow us to do a large-scale beta weekend next month, where even more of you will get the opportunity to play the game and share your feedback. Now, I've applied for every single beta invite that they've had since 2023. I've applied to literally every single one. So whatever criteria they're looking for, they haven't chosen me. I do remember that a lot of the criteria they were looking for was based on your PC specs, but I really don't know. So I'm sure they'll address this in this live stream, but we will see for sure. And when we got 5 minutes left, we'll go premium. Yeah. I did see that Rumble is doing a giveaway for tickets to PAX East, which I thought was pretty cool. You know, it's one of the things that I would want to talk to them about. I think I've mentioned it, that I'm trying to get some time to talk to some of the people in charge at Rumble on a live stream. Yeah, I did. They you know, they told me that they told me at the end of March is when it was the last time I spoke with either of them, and they said that sorry, I'm like really tired. They said that they were beginning discussions for a creator recap of March, and that I would be at the top of the list. But that was at the end of March, and they also said that they would be doing these conversations every month. So, you know, I mean, I can only... So I actually hit Rick and Chris up again a couple days ago. You know, I can only ask and say, hey, are we still doing this? You know, and they say yay or nay. I can't force them to help their own company, you know? I can't force them to do it. And I'm sure they're not just sitting on their hands, you know? I'm sure they're working hard, or they're doing something. I'm sure they're doing something, but yeah, we'll see. I really don't know. There's not much I can do. Except contact them, and yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, I can't force them to help their platform. And the one thing that I could say is I'm sure they are doing what they think. They are prioritizing what they think is the most important thing for Rumble. Because I do think, like, at least the people that I've seen, the forward-facing people of Rumble, the company, care. So I do believe that they're doing what they think is best. But that doesn't necessarily, you know, mean that is what's best. I don't know. And I think, like, transparency would just go such a long way. Transparency would go such a long way. Like, hey, this is why we're doing this. This is, I know we said that, you know, Rumble Shorts, Rumble Reels was gonna, we talked about it, you know, we've been talking about it since the end of 2023, and it's still not out, but this is why it's not out. And I really don't think they should release Rumble Shorts right now. You know, you can't just keep releasing new features while your current features are shit. So, you know, when all your other when every other feature, I'm not saying every feature on Rumble is not good, but when you have any any feature that isn't 100% dialed in perfect, or really damn close to perfect, then you shouldn't be launching new features. We are going to be starting the premium content soon. So personally, I don't care that the Rumble Shorts haven't launched yet, because I don't think Rumble's in the right spot to do that. But you know, hopefully I get a chance to talk to either Chris or Rick or both of them. That would be nice. Anyway, I'm going to start the premium stream. We're 4 minutes away, and I'll catch you guys in the premium side. So we've officially gone premium. So now YouTube subs and Rumble Premium members are the only people who are still watching. Link me that cyborg so I can show your unbox. Okay, give me a second. All right, I just linked it in Rumble chat. You're welcome, my man. I know you saw that I tagged you on Twitter as well for that post, but yeah, I posted about the cyborg. So we got 2 minutes until the Dune Awakening stream starts. For everybody just coming in, they delayed Dune Awakening by 3 weeks. So it was originally going to come out for Ultimate Edition purchasers on May 15th. Now it's coming out on June 5th for Ultimate Edition people who purchased the Ultimate Edition. And my speculation is that that's to test, to stress test their servers, and that this is their message from Funcom. Dear sleepers, these are exciting times. We're closing in on launch, and we've just initiated a major preview beta where hundreds of journalists and content creators are playing the early parts of the game and will be releasing their coverage on April 25th. These past few weeks, we've been steadily gearing up, releasing the character creator and benchmark mode back in February, starting pre-orders in March, and continuing to release new live streams, videos, and details to keep you informed. We want to thank everyone who has shared in our excitement. It's been a joy reading all your comments across the various community channels. Our ongoing persistent closed beta is also continuing in full force with regular updates, and the feedback we've been collecting from beta testers has been invaluable in making sure we can launch a quality game. We have a very active Discord going with our beta testers where our developers can interact directly with them to ensure we collaboratively make Dune Awakening a better game. Thanks to this process, we've concluded that with a bit more time to cook, we can act on a lot more of the feedback we know is important to our beta testers. Here's the most important 2 paragraphs. As such, we will be moving the release date of Dune Awakening to June 10th, with Head Start launching on June 5th. So that's the Head Start I was talking about with the Ultimate Edition. This is not a decision we take lightly. We know everyone is very excited to get playing, but these 3 extra weeks will give us the time needed to make improvements that will lead to a better gameplay experience from day one. We're also excited about the fact that this will allow us to do a large-scale beta weekend next month where even more of you will get the opportunity to play the game and share your feedback. We will release more information about this soon. Dune Awakening is a beast of a game. This is multiplayer survival on a massive scale, and we're making gameplay and technical strides not seen in this genre before. We want to make sure we stick the landing. Also, don't forget to tune into today's live stream on Steam, YouTube, and Twitch, where our developers will be showing and talking more about the combat in Dune Awakening. With best regards from the entire Dune Awakening team here at Funcom. And here we go. What happened? What happened? Do I need to reload? Oh, okay, so yeah, they realized that they're muted. She's muted. She's muted. Let's see what the chat says.
Without hiccups.
There we go.
Apologies for that, everyone.
Apologies for that, everyone.
Hello,
Again.
welcome, hi, to our second Dune Awakening live stream here out of our Oslo offices. Again, hiccups happen. I'm still here. We are still here. I hope everyone is still watching. But anyway, we have a lot to go through. I hope you are well hydrated and you're sitting comfortably. Before we go over the segment and what's coming up, some information for those of you who might have missed it. We have moved the release date for Dune Awakening from the 20th of May to the 10th of June with a head start on the 5th of June. That will give us a little bit of more time to work on some improvements, so there's no concern, there's no reason for concern. We just wanted to work on a few things a little bit longer, and hopefully it makes for a better gameplay experience for everyone as well. And more importantly, it gives us the time to do non-NDA beta weekends on a large scale where you can be streaming, you will be able to talk about the game, you will make videos. Hopefully that is exciting to you. So that was one of the reasons as well. But what are we going to talk about today? So the segments.
Yeah.
Combat.
Yep,
We will
combat.
be talking about the vision of our combat.
The
Dune
vision.
Awakening. We will show you gameplay of both solo combat
Nice.
and group combat.
Nice.
We might even show some PvP.
Nice. Good. I
And
want to
then
see that.
We'll also have a segment about server structure because we know a lot of you were kind of concerned, or some of you were concerned about Head Start and how it will be working, playing with your friends, playing with guilds and groups.
Okay.
So we go over that as well. And then towards the end, we'll also have a Q&A, of course, where we collect questions throughout the stream and then answer those with some of our guests.
Sounds
But
good.
Before we dive into the combat section, let's watch a quick video.
She is very nice. She actually, I've talked to her on Twitter a couple times. She's nice.
For those who do. Awaken. The desert wants you dead, off-worlder. If the sands don't take you, the storms will swallow you whole. But you don't have to walk this path alone. In every danger, there is opportunity.
No, can I go higher?
Foundation of something greater.
No. 1440 is as high as I can go.
A power waiting to be harnessed. Desert power. Some claim to rule this planet. But Arrakis is yours to explore. To fight for. To conquer.
All right. This looks familiar, this trailer.
But there are forces beyond even your control.
Coming to PC June 10th. June 5th. Damn.
Master Arrakis.
I was really getting excited too.
And it will open your mind.
Gives me a little more time to
Path.
get all the games in the backlog done. I'll be able to beat Stalker for sure and Ghost of Tsushima for sure. And probably even more time after that. Okay.
Welcome back. So, combat, we have seen your comments, your feedback on combat and what we have shown so far. So obviously we want to show you more. And to talk about combat, I have two guests with me now, two very interesting guests, and they really know what they're talking about. For one, I have Viljar here, game director on Dune Awakening. Viljar, you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Hi, I'm Viljar. I've been on the project for about 5 years, game director. Other projects I've worked on, I started at Funcom 25 years ago, working on Anarchy Online. I also worked here at on Age of Conan. I did some travel in between. I worked on the Syndicate shooter. I worked on Hitman Absolution and Mirror's Edge Catalyst, to mention a few games.
So a lot of
25 years. Holy shit.
Especially this section and combat in Dune Awakening too. And then also, last but not least, we have Alex, lead combat designer. Alex, you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Alex, lead combat designer on Dune Awakening. With Funcom, I've been for like 16 years now, with the last big project being Conan Exiles. Yeah.
Has it been 16 years?
It's been 16
That's
years.
kind of
That
crazy.
feels super old. It's great. I love
That's
it.
crazy.
Yeah.
I remember doing like
All these people at Funcom, a lot of them have been there for a long time.
Anyway, now we're actually talking
And I mean,
about
that's the
combat
mark of a
and
good company. If your
to talk
employees
about
stay there a long
combat,
time.
We also have to talk
Means they're
about the
getting
vision
paid
of our
well,
combat
they're
in Dune
happy, you
Awakening,
keep them
which is
happy.
we kind of
So it
wanna
must be a
raise the
good
bar
company
when it
to
comes
work for.
combat in open world survival games specifically. But what does that actually mean, Viljar?
Yeah, so when we set out, we wanted to make the best combat experience in the survival game genre. Combat in Dune Awakening is about the interplay between ranged, melee, and abilities. It is responsive and reactive. It is about positioning and movement. Quick in, quick out. Players focused on ranged and players focused on melee should have equal opportunity to succeed, but everyone will
No,
need to use
what
abilities.
I've read from people who've played the
Playing
beta
optimally
says
means
that
switching play style depending on the
ranged is
situation.
the way.
Use ranged weapons at someone
That
approaches. Then
melee
quickly switch
doesn't
to
really
melee
matter
as they get near.
once you get into
So
the deep
basically,
desert
combat is fast and with a lot of
because
movement, right?
there's guns that can
Yeah,
crack a
that's,
shield in
that's-
2
that's
shots.
correct. So we are less about the perfectly timed button press, but more about the overall tactic, like reading the combat environment. So we looked more to action games than traditional survival games when it came to building our combat. So we are not going for a Souls-like approach to combat.
Good.
Yeah, I think that's very, very important to mention as well, like actiony but not Souls-like. And in that context, I think it's also very important to mention that the combat
So tired
has
of
to work
Souls
both
games.
in a solo and in a group gameplay. Group gameplay. That's a difficult thing. Group gameplay setting. There we go. Thank you.
Damn.
Brandon. There we go. Not hiccup.
Yeah,
She's cool. I like her. She's
you need to
nice.
support solo and group play, as you said. So, as a solo player, you really should try to separate enemies from the group. So, try to approach it with a divide and conquer mentality. Abilities provide great opportunities for this approach, basically. So, you can command a single NPC to come to you, or you can use a gravity grenade to keep the enemies behind them at bay. Or even use a shield wall, which is normally used for cover, to actually put it in place of someone who approaches you, and then it will slow them down, giving you more react to come up with your tactics. to
Right,
deal with
right,
them.
right.
And sometimes it's okay to bravely run away. You can disengage with the Shigowire Claw, or even a knee charge, which can be seen as combat tools, but also as good tools to get away from
Escape.
combat when you need to.
Right.
And yes, on the co-op side, playing with friends is easier, but you still need to be careful and not pull everyone at the same time. Like the paradigm that we worked with is 1 enemy is fine, 2 will provide a challenge, and 3 should be hard. So if you go beyond that, you kind of brought it on yourself.
Good point. In the end there. You mentioned abilities and tools and things. One thing that's very important in the game as a whole is basically be able to customize your kind of experience, right? Like that goes into character customization, it goes into how you want to play outside of combat too, but more importantly, it really also goes into kind of customizing your own combat and your playstyle, right?
Yes, that's correct. So one of our pillars is expression and customization, and this is something that we followed throughout everything that we do in the game. So it's not just about making your character look the way that you want, but it's also developing the combat style that you want.
Okay.
You can, of course, fully commit to an archetype to play out a specific Dune fantasy, but you can also pick from all the skill trees if you want to take a more of a
Which is what I will be
approach.
doing for sure.
And if you talk combat, of course, we also have to talk weapons. For one, ranged weapons. We've seen quite a few ranged weapons in examples of combat videos that we've shown. But can you tell us a little bit more about ranged combat in specific?
There's
so
a
we do have
shotgun that
lot
can
of,
two-shot.
Ranged weapons in our game, and luckily the Dune lore actually supports this. It's mentioned many times in the Dune books. However, our approach with the mechanics and everything is that they're spring-loaded and mechanical. So we use dodge instead of bullets, which give them kind of a different feel to what you use from other games. I'll mention a few examples, like we have something called the drill shot.
Drill
This is
shot,
by
yeah,
burrow
that's the
darts. It will
that's
hit
the
shield
shotgun.
and burrow through. And if you don't do a dash to counter that, it will go through the shield and damage you directly. But as I mentioned, you can do a dash, assuming you have the stamina, and then they will fall to the ground. So you have to be aware of these things and use dash and stamina elegantly.
The drill shot is the two-shot
also have,
shotgun.
Weapons, ranged weapons that you might see are similar to other games. For instance, we have something called the Karpov, which is an assault rifle.
And then we also have a disruptor, which is kind of like an SMG, right? That's specific to the gameplay as well. That's kind of important too.
Yes, of course. So we have the disruptor, which is very effective at taking down a shield. So if you see someone coming towards you with a shield on, quickly switch it to your disruptor. Try to take down the shield and take them out before they get close to you.
Right. And when we talk about shields, of course, they are a very important part of the Dune universe. Melee combat as well, which we know that's one of the topics that a lot of people have talked about, because we haven't really shown that or explained it that much in
no, you haven't.
or videos specifically. So let's talk about shields and melee.
Yeah, so on the melee side, we have swords, we have rapiers, we have the kinjal, we have the crysknife. Swords deal damage in an area, but they are kind of slow. You do a swing, but it's kind of slow compared to the kinjal, which is very fast, but only focuses on one enemy at a time. So even there, you can play as you like. And of course, our shields, they work a little different from what you're used to in other games, I think. Our shields actually go down when you shoot, which makes you vulnerable. So you go into an encounter and start shooting, and suddenly you wonder why you take a lot of damage. Your shield went down. Now, this can be used. This also works the other way. So if you go against an enemy, if you time it right, you see them start firing, and then you dodge out of the way, and then you start damaging them. So it's about looking for windows of opportunity while dodging out of the way from damage. So you can, of course, do the melee approach, where your shield won't go down when you attack. However, you're still vulnerable to the slow blade attack. This is a special attack where if you're fighting against a shielded enemy, with a little bit of extra effort, you can actually press through their shield to deal damage through their shield. So you're never completely safe. And the last thing I'll mention on this is that you can be staggered by various attacks, in which case you should use the dash, as I mentioned already. And again, it uses stamina, so manage this carefully.
So the dash is kind of a get out of jail free card sometimes, as long as you have stamina, right?
Exactly.
And if you talk shields and weapons, we have to mention the lasguns too, of course.
Right, the lasguns. So the way that the lasguns work in lore is that if you fire a lasgun at a shield, you get an atomic explosion. And fun as that may seem in the short term, we deemed it impractical. So
I like that it's like, we deemed it impractical. So it's like have like nuclear explosions all over the map
we
constantly.
had it working, but we figured it out that it's probably not for the best, for the greater good of the game.
Probably not, yeah. It would be hilarious maybe for a day or so, but then I think
it was funny.
Players would get kind of tired of it.
Yeah, exactly. So the way we did it is that the Emperor decreed that any lasgun produced or crafted on Arrakis will have a safety. So basically, if you try to fire a lasgun at someone who's shielded, the last gun just will refuse to fire.
I see.
That's how we dealt with that.
As a kind of a elegant solution to the whole problem. Also, if we talk Holtzman tech, which the shield is of course a Holtzman tech, we have more Holtzman tech in the game, of course.
Suspensor belts.
Yes. Yeah, so you have the Holtzman, the suspensor belts, and these are really good for both traversal and combat. So you can use them during combat to get out of trouble, or you can use it to descend upon your enemy. It's not an ability per se, but it's one aspect of the game which supports other abilities and how you use them.
Okay.
I love them. They're really fun, and there's like different types of them too. Like hover, you can control it like more up and down and vertically, or just fall damage and things like that.
Yeah.
You briefly also mentioned the Dune fantasy earlier on, and of course, if you talk about that, we have archetype, like we call them in the game, that are very much going into this Dune fantasy of like, we have characters that people might know from the books or the movies, like Duncan Idaho, Swordmaster, for example. And for example, we also talked, Mali, we do actually have a Swordmaster archetype in the game, right?
Yeah, so we have the Swordmaster. They're of course melee focused. So
Yes.
some of the abilities that they have are deflection, where they can actually
Deflect
run
the
towards
darts.
an enemy who's firing darts at them and deflect those darts and don't take damage. They have the knee charge, which is very practical when you want to knee kick someone. But again, you can also use it for traversal to get away or get into the action if you want. And then they also have something called the Eye of the Storm, which is a whirlwind that will attack everything that hit.
I haven't seen that
it will
in
damage
action,
everything
but
that
I've
is around
seen
them.
the icon
And I
for it.
wanna mention this specifically for the beta players, because we've actually reworked how this whirlwind attack works. So the next version that you'll play will be much cooler.
There we go. A little bit of a nugget for the beta players. Thank you for all your feedback, by the way. It's very valuable and very much appreciated. Also, I am very much a Swordmaster at heart. I also like Retaliate, for example, which is a super cool skill, but we don't go into detail about that. You can try that out soon, hopefully yourself. But if we talk about archetype, some of you might have started watching the show or watching the show, the Bene Gesserit TV show that's now available.
Dune.
Don't
What's it
copy
called?
Maybe, I think I'm right.
Prophecy.
But we also have a Bene Gesserit archetype tree as well, right?
Yes, we do have the Bene Gesserit, and they're all about voice powers and supreme muscle control. So they have abilities like the Binder Sprint, where they can run at incredible speed, run into combat or run away from combat. They have the Compel, which is where they can command someone to get to them and incapacitate them for a bit until you and actually give you time to damage them before they regain control over their limbs. And they also have the Weeding Step, which is a very cool ability where they can move superhumanly fast behind someone and then attack from the back.
So these are, of course, only two of the archetype trees that we mentioned, but it's kind of surprising as well because, or not surprising, because those are my favorite ones. I go with them a lot, and I love combining the Swordmaster and the Bene Gesserit trees because they just work so well together, especially also if you like melee. But we'll see more on that a little later in the combat segment. If we talk about the Dune universe, of course, we need to talk about spice. Spice is important in the game for pretty much everything. It influences politics.
The spice must flow.
Influences economics. It influences your character in all different kind of interesting and special ways. And it also influences combat.
Yeah, so that's true. So we have this special ability called prescience. This is where you gain special powers through spice consumption or even inhaling spice in a spice field. If you don't have if you're not wearing a spice mask for protection. So in the game, you start with two abilities, and then when you play the story, you will unlock a third ability at the same time as you unlock the spice prescience feature. So this is a very cool, very powerful mode to be in, where you will reduce the cooldowns on all of your abilities by quite a lot. You'll deal a lot more damage from your abilities, from range, from melee. You'll even become immune to poison. And additionally, it will actually trigger what we call capstone skills. So these are special passive skills that you invested in the various skill trees that we have. And they will only be active when you're in this special mode. So A few examples there are the shield overcharge, where you can actually see vulnerabilities in others' shield, and you can focus on those vulnerabilities and take down their shields faster. We have the Bindu dodge, where it appears as if dodge and blade attacks pass through you. Your health will regenerate at an accelerated pace as well. But what's really helpful to get an eye to understand the battlefield is it will highlight enemies. You will see their health, their weapons, their ammunition, and also the type of NPC that you will be dealing with, and it lasts for quite some time as well.
Yeah.
It's
So,
a very
but for
powerful mode to be in. And it will
for
be-
PVE, that's
Especially
powerful,
with
but for
ammunition, it's like,
PvP,
oh, it shows ammunition,
it
that's
doesn't
not
really
that
matter.
important. But it actually shows you when you have an opportunity or window to actually
To go
attack.
between
Because
reloads.
yes, exactly, because NPCs have to reload as well. They kind of react very much like players have to as well.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of information, a lot of talk, and we're actually now going to show you how that actually looks in gameplay. We'll have Alex here
Hopefully.
play like a pro, like the pro he is, because he really knows what he's doing. No
Mostly.
pressure, no pressure, Alex. Yes.
So let's see where we go to. We have had this character set up in a location of our choosing to showcase the combinations of experiences that our players will be able to.
Okay, this is cool. We're gonna actually get to
combat
see
with
some
a balance of
gameplay.
Multiple things, and we have.
This is
wide
dope.
selection of very
This
interesting
is
toys
very cool
that we
that
will demo here.
they're
that
actually
our viewers can see
showing
and experience.
So
showing
this will
you.
be solo combat 1st right? Just to make that clear.
So you have
Ooh, we're actually low on water. I forgot to solve that problem beforehand.
what's
No.
what's the
See,
Z?
that's
Is
why you
that
should always
consuming
be
spice?
prepared if you go
Right,
out. Make sure
absolutely.
you have enough
We
water.
will
Make
not
sure you have
cheat to fix this problem.
enough
We will
ammunition.
suffer the
So you have three
consequences,
abilities, but you're not high
we
on
will
spice, right?
find water in the location that we go to. As you see here, we've begun to be dehydrated. But sorry,
Yes.
sorry.
It's very much worth mentioning that you'll be having fewer dashes because you're low on hydration.
Your stamina actually gets
Exactly.
Reduced.
limited.
Yeah.
If you can see where the pips are on the bottom left of the
So
screen,
Q,
above the
X,
hydration icon,
C,
every time you cross
Z.
that threshold, you're given a bonus to your stamina. Right now, because we're below both of the thresholds, we do not have that bonus. It's a missed statistical opportunity.
And your health goes down as well.
And the
over
health is
time.
going to be ticking down. We have a challenge. We'll overcome the challenge. I promise.
And on the same time, you're also sunstroke.
I'm also sunstroke, yes.
Yeah.
Everything
So
that's going
if
bad
it
will
rains,
go
it
bad.
pours, right? Even it's a
Absolutely.
rockis,
lovely.
it's a rockis, but it
Yes.
still rains, it pours.
It's
yeah.
pouring sunlight.
Go for it.
So, first, I'm going to talk about the tools that we're bringing, and then we're going to touch on the skills that we have equipped for this character. This character specifically going to be for my playstyle. Let's talk about first the equipment. We have a selection of items: healing, melee, disruptor, rifle, scattergun. These all have their uses. I will use them interchangeably in combat. We have a armor kit. This is light armor. This is more focused around dashing and dodging and being more protective against melee attacks. We have our battery pack that fuels our two of our primary resources, which is technically they both pull from the same pool, the energy pool, which Holtzman shields use, and this is the Holtzman shield, and Holtzman suspensors use also.
Okay.
We'll quickly show this before we go any further.
Interesting.
So I will first activate my shield. Boop, boop. Fantastic.
Nice.
And then, as Vilja said, the unique narrative of Dune forces projectiles to have to put down a shield for them to read it. We must time
Right. Your
time
shield goes
our
down
gameplay
when you
around this
shoot.
mechanic. Then, suspensors. The one I chose is the one I personally prefer the most. It is energy efficient. It doesn't give me vertical velocity, but it allows me to float. Maybe I will have to cheat to solve this water problem. This is becoming poignant.
And you saw that his shield started blinking there. That's because he was low on energy while he was suspended.
I'm gonna gas out and pop the bubble.
Boom.
There we go. Right. So here we have lost our shield. We have lost the perfect barrier because it is tied to the resource pool. Because we're floating,
I
it
see.
will regenerate, and it will re-engage. There we go. Now, in terms of skills, let's have a quick look. The camera overlay is hiding a couple of buttons, but I'll pretend I know where they are and click through them. So here we see our 5 archetypes, and my choice of skills for me personally, and because of the setup that we're playing, which is away from the TV a little bit, on remote hardware. So if I miss, it's not my fault, it's the hardware's fault. I'm getting that out of the way now.
No gaming chair either.
No, no,
sounds
no,
like.
no. Knee charge,
Knee charge.
compel,
Compel.
and assault seeker. In terms of my techniques, which are actions that function passively, I
Been
can't
taught
remember that
where to
much.
shoot,
Right,
where you're
that-
most likely to hit, and you do it by instinct. It hits the body, but reducing your damage.
believe it says center of mass.
Okay. And you can reduce the power drain.
We have energy conservation to give me more juice so that I can fight for longer, float for longer, shield for longer.
While you were any attacks will have a damage bonus. Okay. Damage while suspended 40%.
And therefore,
Holy.
give me benefits to my damage output while I'm floating. With that said, let's do this actually. Let's do a little bit cheating so that people don't see the magic hands while we're fixing the character.
The water consumption.
The water consumption. The thing that our support crew don't
I'm gonna
realize
do
is that
some-
I need
I'm
to see
gonna
the
do
other
some
monitor
water
so that I can
consumption
fix
as
it as
well,
well.
actually, just
Fantastic.
to-
I'm gonna look this way to fix it. Magic button there.
Just so we are like aligned with
It's just
our character
completely
too.
fair. There's
Damn,
no problem
that's
at
nice
all.
water.
This is just magic that happens.
Do you need
People
some water as
Buffy-
well? Are you
No, I'm
okay?
good. It's fine. So the character's fixed,
Nice.
hydrated, sheeting
Perfect.
concluded. See, we have a blue bar. It's magic. Perfectly planned, perfectly prepared. Nothing happened.
It was all planned
It was
anyway
all
from
planned.
the get-go, so we
And you can
just
see that even though we're cheating, the health doesn't go
Exactly.
up immediately. You will have
Because-
to regenerate health.
Because we are hydrated, we are regaining our maximum lost life.
Exactly.
Right. So
Yeah, but
all
look at
we
how
do-
fast the
all we
water's
give it a
going
second
down.
So that we don't completely get destroyed, even though we're shielded as we progress forward.
We can also talk about the fact that you're actually wearing a helmet, but you can actually hide the helmet.
Should
I think
show that?
you can. I mean, it's not combat related, but I think a lot of
Where is
people
that
are
button, if you
actually
guys remember?
press D. You can press D,
Press the B key.
and there you go. So
There
you have a
it
toggle
is.
here, so you can actually toggle your helmet on and off, and that works
Okay.
with
I
all
like
armor.
helmetless in this case. Much
Me
better.
too. Like a lot of players, like just have like. I don't want to
see
see.
out of
I want to
this.
see the beautiful face I made during the character creation.
Okay.
Right?
I believe.
You can
Unless you
survive.
guys-
You can survive the first encounter. That's just
I hope
outside.
so. And we have DBNO mechanics that will allow me to stand back up again. Let's experience.
And you're
Well,
also,
if not, you have
and
an
you're also being
excuse.
being dehydrated by the sun again.
Still, right. Let's get into the let's get into the shadows. I will. The location we're going to is an Ecolab. It's to the forward left. We're gonna rotate counterclockwise and hit the entrance. I've been in this Ecolab a couple times, so I have a relatively good memory of where the NPCs are. But if I make a mistake,
Oh,
it's not my
shit.
fault. It's the hardware's fault. We shall begin.
Taking a bold approach here.
This is not. I hit every bullet. It's absolutely not me. We'll reheal, and because we're shielded, we continue to advance. Let's get into it. Let's pressure this. Let's pick up the tempo.
Yeah,
We
dude.
Go here, rotate left, compel core,
Oh, so he used compel.
and dispatch him easily. We're relatively safe.
Boom,
here. This
got him.
character's by himself. His mate was dispatched. We're shielded. We're in shadow, and we're inside. This is the entrance of our Ecolab location.
And these
I
are
use
PvE
compel as one of
areas.
my skills.
Yeah, I saw
At the
that.
very beginning of the game, we do not have access, like Vilja said, to all 3 skills. You must experience a certain narrative event before they come online.
Yeah.
At that
You
point,
probably have gotten it at this point in the game
yes.
because it's like 10 hours in or something.
Do you
Okay,
remember
so
which
you-
tier we're in right now?
Steel.
Steel tier.
Well, this one is steel tier, but it's placed in iron tier area.
Right, it's the challenging Ecolab.
Yeah.
So
one of my
you
favorites
do
because it is quite-
get 3 abilities
long,
without
it has
having to consume
Very
spice.
interesting,
That's good
disposition
to
of
know.
rooms, and it
But at
works
first you only
really,
have
really
2.
well,
Okay.
especially for the tier that it's in. So we're gonna make our way down the hall. Actually, no,
Oops.
we'll save that for later. I was thinking about activating the precedent state, but I think we'll save that for later. So let's see. We have 2 characters here. They don't know we're here. We will.
Shoot that mother.
No, we won't do that. We'll just open up with the scattergun. Oh no! Okay, that was my mistake.
You
Shield
could
back
though,
on.
like if you crouch, you actually miss most
This
of
is
this.
one of the things that is not often evident because if you crouch your character, you do not generate audio movement events. What that means is that if you can predict which way NPCs will move, you can get much closer to them to do what I essentially did here, which is get the scattergun in a much closer position.
Yeah, and the scattergun obviously is better at close range because it scatters a lot of pellets, a lot of darts.
Yes, we know this.
Let's have a look.
Boom.
Yeah, because the scattergun is basically like your shotgun approach in other games.
The other interesting element here is that, as Vilja said prior, we don't only. Ooh, I missed.
Oh, that was a
that's
nice
interesting.
dodge
Let's
from there.
let's not. I'm shielded. He's not going to do anything. It's okay. We're fine. We're overpowered. One of the things that Vilja mentioned before is that because of the setting, because of the Holzman technology, and because of how we need to value, there has to be value to attacking something, but not really taking its hit points away, which is where staggers and the stagger mechanics really come in. For example, with the scattergun is one of the best tools you have to force a stagger at short
Appreciate
range,
the
not
follow,
melee range, but
cowboy.
short range, to a target that you manage to land all your darts on. So you're going to continue advancing, explore this space. Shall we activate the special?
Just wait till you get
energy?
in a little bit of trouble.
Let's get a bit of trouble. So, kind of a longer corridor. I will zoom in
Right,
with my
let's see.
magical Mark 1 eyeball to try to spot the baddies as we advance ever so slowly.
Dude, they're right there. You don't see them?
There we go. Right, we pull back.
Yes,
Main
we
charge,
in there.
we
Yep.
proceed to compel, tactically withdraw.
He didn't.
Heroically running away.
Oof. Okay, I need to. This is the other element. We need to disposition them.
Ooh.
Oh, he didn't get through. Oh, this dodging. Please push through. Nice.
Got him.
I need to. I have my abilities.
So we see it's very much about positioning and tactical
One,
combat.
2,
Yeah.
3. He staggered. Push through.
Got him.
And as you saw, the NPC was actually doing a knee charge against you because they have the same abilities as we do.
I saw that.
And he's on reload, and I follow through.
Boom.
Successfully.
Got him.
Yes, nice.
Now
Successfully.
he
We
changed
might
shoulders.
actually get NPCs to maybe be a little bit more clever with when they reload versus shielded characters. That's a future team conversation.
Maybe you can at least imbibe some spice beer so you're ready for it.
Absolutely. Let's see. Let's take before we go any further. Let's one. Now push our bar upwards, and we have to wait a few ticks for it to get ready. We're not going to trigger it yet. We're going to wait for the go signal before we get spicy.
Also, you can do that via food or drinks, but also sometimes it kind of goes up organically.
I mean, if you go to a spice field, you will inhale spice
Yes.
directly.
And you can also see the particles in the air. You actually see it. That's very interesting.
Inhale.
Okay, so use the voice right there.
We'll keep eyes out for the other characters. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, finish him.
Oh no!
Oh, he's gonna come.
Oh, I
Oh.
didn't press keyboard fault, not my fault.
Come on, bro.
I
Take this
actually
guy
tried to
out.
Dodge, or technically dash. Push through the shield. Nice.
You saw the shotgun there staggering the enemy and then
Yeah.
throwing through with a blade.
My objective there was to read the telegraph on the knee charge and move tactically to the side. I had failed. I pressed the wrong button, but it's okay. Success was still had. Right, and here, because we're in an eco lab, it is actually not the easiest place. Should we activate our power here?
Sure.
Let's
Go
do
for
it.
it.
So, we're entering the prescient state. As Vilja said prior, we have increased output of damage, we have
Okay.
cooldowns on our abilities, and more importantly, we have information. And information is ammunition that we can use to succeed.
Yeah, you have to actually see the enemies first, but once you do, you are conscious of where they are.
So, I will actually try to utilize the playstyle of this character build to its optimum. I will float and fight. In the fight, could please hit. Please hit. No, okay. No, wait. Not that way.
You did see the buff activate
Yeah,
though
yeah.
on the right side from
You
your
want to heal?
passives
I need to engage
while
this
you were
frame.
floating.
Dash sideways. 1, 2, 3, dash away. Fence. Parry. Follow through.
Got him. Nice.
And since you're spec'd, you're on the same tier as them basically, it's just one slow blade. If you go against higher tiered enemies, you will have to use more of those, so that's obviously more challenging.
Normally, the first time players experience a location that they are under-geared for, they need to be much. Ooh, okay, let's proceed to melee. Yeah.
Guy took a lot of bullets.
Okay.
From what we saw there was that you were blocking. You weren't parrying. You were
Yeah.
holding block actually.
You
Yeah.
don't feel comfortable in the situation to try to risk it. How did he die? I guess he exploded. That's interesting. Let's
Well,
push
then-
forward. Let's see what we
Fuck.
encounter. Let's actually reload our equipment. Reload. There we go. This next button. No, that's the same button. Reload this button. There we go. And this last one is already ready to go.
You also see now, of course, that the spy's prescient bar goes
It's
slowly
going down. Yeah.
And as you saw there, Alex was preparing before the next encounter. You really should prepare before you go into every encounter.
Especially if you play solo, right?
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
be way more careful right now if you play solo like this.
Usually it's okay. It's just a question of how many resources players are willing to sacrifice for their speed and or efficiency. Let's actually throw a Seeker. Bang.
But we also see here what you mentioned earlier when we talked about solo and pro play. Like Alex is really trying to be able to pick his fights, right?
Yeah.
Like trying to separate enemies, trying to go for cover,
This is a heavy
use his ability
Yeah.
to,
Oh,
to
shit.
not have to fight everyone.
Yeah.
At the
I
same time.
compelled the heavy there to force them into a long CC effect while dispatching his friend. I'm going to come back now and solve the problem. Okay? Oh no.
And this is the first time we see a heavy in this.
Let's
uh,
see,
Yeah.
let's switch the disruptor and we need to use our explosive damage to get a little bit of chip on him. Not that much chip, but let's see what happens. We're gonna go in. 1, 2, 3. Push through. Disengage. See if he decides to bubble. No. Another hit. Okay. No.
And this guy's tough.
Because
And yeah, this guy has a minigun, and they are very good at taking down your shield as well.
What are the
Oh,
Nice.
That was very close.
he
Okay.
was just about to do a suspensor blast, which would incapacitate Alex.
One of the big things that players will experience is that even though, as we listed prior, even though an individual character is quite easy to handle, the second you mismanage space or mismanage resources, it becomes very, very tricky. I need to stop speaking and focus. It becomes very, very tricky to handle the output that everything is throwing, which is why I need to try to focus these guys down quickly. CC him, disengage, reposition.
I jokingly say running away bravely, but like it's really a tactic.
It's a smart tactic sometimes.
You
yeah.
should try to get away from it, regroup, and then go back in with a plan. Because going up against a lot of enemies solo is
Right, let's progress. Okay, this way. It looks interesting. Let's have a look. Right, that appears to be a ring. Ooh, okay, let's check this way. Rotating. Aha,
have it.
right.
Oh,
So
there
again,
we go.
we'll compel him away from this problem, and then we'll press the opposite direction. And we'll try to dispatch his friends quickly. And it's not me, it's the hardware.
He should have switched
Melee, blocking.
to the
Oh,
disruptor.
Okay, recharge. Recharge successful, push through.
Boom, got him.
Abilities allow you to bypass. Can I? Yes, I can. No, okay. Pull away. The reason I pulled away is because I noticed my stamina, which is why my abilities were not usable. I pulled away to regenerate my stamina, re-heal to be safe. I could probably have succeeded the fight. I just didn't want to choose to risk my resources because everything in Dune costs time, costs investment. Why risk when you can make things a little bit more successful?
Right, and you might even have lost your shield because of the minigun. Right?
Push through.
And I'll mention for the beta players that we're doing a big rework or iteration on stamina. So a lot more
Got
things
him.
will cost stamina. Stamina won't always regenerate depending on actions that you do. You won't regenerate stamina as you sprint, for instance. We have a few more fixes coming in for this as well, but it will be a much more valuable and an important aspect of combat.
This version is not on the beta, right?
No, this is
No,
not on the
this
beta.
one
Right,
is
so
not
this
on
is
the
the
beta.
first time beta players could be potentially seeing the changes that are upcoming.
Yeah.
Interesting. Lovely lore tidbit. Let's press the button. People can enjoy the text on screen while we proceed to succeed.
That's actually the boss that is talking.
It's the leader of this this area, Inhaler.
I don't see any contacts. We'll push forward and further and okay.
Oh,
Switch
I
to
see a
suspension
contact.
setting. There we go. Right. So my prescient state has depleted,
Oh yeah.
which is why I don't see the character's lovely highlights to tell me what they're about to do. So I need to choose when to go in with much less information.
And we can see here what's happening now is that he's in withdrawals. We can't actually consume spice. He needs to wait for that bar to go down, then he can consume spice. However, he will have to consume more spice now than he did in the first round because his tolerance is growing. And this can go up to quite a high level where you'll have to consume a lot of spice in order to go prescient.
Shall we consume spice? Let's see. Oh wait, no. I will know. I will focus on the gameplay. Right, dispatched. Okay, let's see what this character is doing. Okay, he thinks I'm there. Let's compel. On. Right away. Scattergun. See what he does. I'm not there anymore. And I can't hit him. Great. Wait, again.
What's he doing?
Is this the server acting up?
Let's see what happens. We're gonna finish and get our success opportunity.
Oh,
no.
Back.
Leaving. Nice. And let us rearm and re-equip. We'll press this button to rearm this gun. We'll press this button that's already reloaded. Scattergun is reloaded. Disruptor ready. Let's rock and roll. Right, I kind of know this layout. We're gonna go down the stairs. And further and further. Let's see again. Shall we? Let's use that. And use more. And
so they need to definitely fix those that NPC bullshit.
It's expensive, but we are on Arrakis. Therefore, unlike most characters in the universe, we have easy access to it.
And to be fair, we're cheating right now a little bit when it comes to spawning items, spawning the beer.
It's fine. Mostly. It's absurd.
No, but you will be able to craft spice beer, spice coffee yourself, and you'll also sometimes find it in loot.
Okay.
Oh shit, dodge.
Getting close to spice field with it also.
Happens if I don't dispatch them quickly. See, I can shoot. I can float and shoot as well. No, I have to reload. That's a mistake, Alex. There we go. My shield almost popped. This is from 2 attackers. Okay, less speaking, more focus. Sorry. What is he doing? He's getting compelled. He will approach.
Okay, he compelled him. And he killed him, okay.
Disruptor, reloaded. Rifle, scattergun, reload. Hello. Pressing forward and further. Are we alone? We're alone. We continue. I believe we are 2 rooms away from our final destination. Let's see how well we overcome this. We have 1 shooter, 1 fighter. And
Dude, the grenade doesn't really seem to be that useful.
Compel away.
But the compel seems to be pretty useful, at least against NPCs. Look at that, boom. Barely touched him. Barely damaged him at all. That thing's useless.
Sorry, I will counter your parry with my knee. Successful. Oh, that's his friend. Parry.
Nice.
Counter. Rotation. Fantastic. Do I have to heal? And I just run out of stamina at the end.
So that grenade isn't worth a shit.
This is actually also, like Vilo was saying beforehand, a little bit pushed to the further end of progression. So I have some things that are helping me. I'm unhydrated. Where's there a water location?
Exactly.
Can I find some water here?
To the right there. No, I thought it was.
Let me do a quick rotation around this room to see if there's a water container somewhere in here that I can exploit. Else I'll have to go another way. Well, we won't have to. We'll just... Yeah, let's... no, sorry. One more. Let's just check this room here up ahead. Maybe. Oof. There we go.
Water.
Get more stamina. Is there a
Okay.
second?
Nope.
No? No? Okay. 1 is enough. Even without the bonus, it's good not to go too far close to the red. All right, let's continue our experience.
This gives me anxiety to just walk past loot boxes. That is like so...
Sorry, developers.
Gotta open all the boxes.
Developers, yeah.
Yeah.
Continue through.
Grab the loot, brother.
Nice, okay. Right, and I believe we ought to be somewhere near one of the primary events.
So this is where we come to the blood door. You can pass through, but you cannot exit until you've taken care of all the enemies inside.
The terminology of a blood door is started off as an internal keyword for us. These are technically Holtzman shields that have been specifically configured for very, very specific purposes to make a gameplay experience better for the player. We should proceed through. Now,
And if you look back at the door, you can see that you can't actually exit now.
however, your friends can follow through.
Yeah.
And sometimes not friends also follow.
This is true.
And this is where some of the deep desert ecology become very, very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so in this location, we have a big gameplay space, 3 paths, left, middle, and right, and there is also an underside. I happen to know this because I've reviewed this Ecolab a couple of times, and I will pretend like I don't, but I do. We will engage with this piece of content doing a clockwise rotation, going left and around. Let's see how well we do.
Left
We'll
and
try not to
around.
go too much because, as we saw previously, if I
Damn,
make a
there's
mistake,
7
I am
people
punished.
so
We
far.
will try to minimize mistakes, and again, crouching. to not
7,
risk being
8,
heard.
9.
You absolutely have to.
Oh shit.
That's a heavy. This is a bad location.
Yeah,
I
she
should not have gone this way.
just
I
got
need to use
fucked
this
up.
box to keep cover from the heavy. Let's see how long my shield can hold before I...
Oh.
Nice, okay.
Wow.
Please shield, shield, shield. What is he doing? Shield, shield, compel. Run through. We will not fight him because we don't have the resources to. We will engage. No, I missed. Oh, yeah. No, stop, please stop. Okay, stab. Finish, crouch. Get below line of fire. That guy doesn't see us yet. Okay, we have resources. We're gonna go in.
Damn, this guy kind of sucks.
This was a marksman that I happen to know is here. He's quite dangerous if he is not dispatched quickly. They proceed to stack up a lot of poison damage on our players. We will not fight the heavy because that is a dangerous proposition. Instead, continue to rotate around the location to dispatch his friend. Actually,
No, they should kill that heavy now. He should kill that heavy now. He's all by himself.
let's get rid of this guy before we get into too much trouble. Compel, advance. Nope.
So this guy is a fool. Damn.
Stab the body. Stab. No, get away. Recharge. No, I don't
Nice.
have any stamina. No.
That's exactly
Okay.
because I'm too risk.
Throw a grenade, brother.
I'm too eager right now.
Power
yes.
tools.
Does that push through? No, it didn't.
And then hit him with the knee charge.
Dash in and
Jeez.
right. Follow. Staggered, push through.
Got him.
There we go.
Even a combat designer can play perfectly every single time. That's
It's the
totally fine.
hardware. Please
Yes,
don't blame
it's
me.
the hardware and the
okay.
gaming chair.
I am actually disappointed that my pressing state is depleted yet again. It is not very efficient to not know how many hit points the opposition has.
Well,
However, we will make do.
Normally people won't explain so much as they have the pressure state basically because you lost quite a bit of it
Yes.
there. It does last for quite some time. Well,
Yeah, that grenade sucks.
Go back a little bit. See what happens. It's a heavy and a...
and aside from combat like this now, he's in withdrawal, and you start seeing these pink elements showing up every now and then. So after a while, you might start seeing things that aren't there if you trigger pressions too often.
Why is that? Spice can influence your character in all different kinds of ways.
Compel.
You almost
Compel that
reach
bitch.
Come on, push through. No, not enough. Next weapon.
Boom. Got him.
Successful. Okay, great. And then let's look around to see. Let's actually reload before we push further. Disruptor, rifle, scat gun, fantastic. Rifle equipped. Let's see what we see. I believe we have cleared the left and right, and now we need to have a look at the middle.
Oh yeah, there's more of them.
Yep. Yes, we do.
How we cleared it?
Let's
It's
have
crazy
a
that they're all
close
just
look.
kind of like letting
2, 1,
the other
some
group of
damage.
them. Look at that.
Yeah, so this,
That didn't even do
assault
shit to
stick actually
him.
has double functionality where you can throw it and it will explode on contact, or you can trigger it as it moves towards the target, or past the target even.
Like that grenade sucks.
Shield. Nice.
They need to work on that grenade.
Reload.
They need to take those
Reload.
3 weeks and work on that
Go for it.
grenade. What the
No,
fuck?
Wait, I'm not ready. Wait, take your turn. Floating bomb. Yeah. Oh, I missed,
it-
I missed time. That was too far.
It doesn't do
no.
shit.
Oh, push headshot. Yes, there we go. Great. Let's heal some health.
We see that the door is still locked over there, so there's
There's
enemies
still some
left.
enemies.
Yeah, that's the way we need to go. So we need to find the remainder of the encounters.
There he is.
Okay, and from this vantage point,
Now, use that
you
suspensor belt,
absolutely
dude.
succeed flow.
That's where your bow comes into play
Okay.
specifically.
Oh, you just got messed
bad,
up.
Bad, bad. No, that's also bad. Please don't. Please don't. I have to confront him. I don't have any. Oh, get away.
That's my experience with this.
Disruptor?
That's my experience with this Ecolab as well. It can get out of hand really
Yeah.
quickly if you're not very careful. If you solo this
Where is
one.
it? Okay, heal. Where's the heavy? He's on the corner. I'll
Heal,
go to the
dude.
right. One health
Heal
back,
again,
stay
dude.
Stay low. Stay low, stay safe. I have stamina. I have resources. Go. Okay, let's go. Daggers to hand. He was right here. There he is. Quantum bomb. Bam.
I'm just choosing to ignore you.
One.
Oh, you got.
Okay. Knee to the face. Dagger through.
Boom. Got him.
Right. Give me my cooldowns back. And
You need to be
stamina.
able to
Stamina
lock
low.
on.
Compelled. Dagger.
Got him.
This is all about risk minimizing. I could have been much more aggressive. I could have risked my durability of my equipment. I chose not to. I believe we have mostly cleared the space. Let's have a reload and a look-see. Here we go. Right. Let's get back upstairs. To there. To there.
Yeah,
There we
you see
go.
the door is green there. So we're not going to go through the next room. That's where Inna Hiller, the leader of this Ecolab or this testing station, is. We're gonna end the solo play at this point.
Yep. I love the
Not
fun. Thank you, Johnny.
not spoil the boss here.
No,
Yes.
that's
Even though we
fine,
heard her talk actually earlier, so it's like we're not gonna kill her this time around. So that gives us the opportunity to now from solo gameplay go into group gameplay. We're gonna set up some things behind the scenes. We're gonna watch a quick video first, and then we'll be right back with more gameplay for you to watch.
You can tell they're really trying. Like they really want everything to be perfect. You can just tell that they want perfection. And perfection is not achievable. Perfection is an ideal. But I do enjoy the fact that you can tell they want to do well. You know, they're not thinking they're too cool for school. They want to do a good job. And that goes a long way. Trying goes a long way for me. But they got to work on those grenades. They need to try and work on those grenades because those grenades were boo-boo.
And we are back again. As we mentioned, we're going to set up a few more things behind the scenes. The crew will tell me when we're ready to actually go. We all ready? Well, that was fast, was super efficient because we were actually, because we're going to talk a little bit more about the differences between the Ecolab that we just went through solo and the Ecolab that we're actually going through now in group play. We can still do that, actually, we can explain that a little bit as well because the approach is going to be quite different. Plus also we see more group viability or like group gameplay, group like, what's the term I'm looking for?
Coordination,
coordination,
a little
thank
bit
you.
of planning,
Exactly.
well, a little bit more of them planning because these locations are in the deep desert, so you have to have a fair bit of planning and protection because not everyone here is a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the deep desert ecolabs, they are in PvP areas, so you run.
Okay, so this is a deep desert.
Obviously.
So this
Also,
is
we see also
PvP.
the players here, they were higher tier armor, they have better weapons, they have more abilities as well. Plus, but you're probably going to comment on that later on as well, the approach and the mechanics in this type of ecolabs is kind of different.
So
than
you
it
join
is
their
also
party.
in the solo
Yes,
gameplay.
the enemies are much more aggressive. They're much higher tiered enemies. The weaponry and the gadgets and abilities they use against you are more advanced. Also here, the blood doors have an additional function where waves will spawn. So not only do you have to clear the room once, you have to clear it. You have to clear all the waves before you can actually continue to the loot. And loot also works a little bit differently in the deep desert compared to PvE areas. PvP loot and PvE loot works differently. So in PvE, everybody gets the loot. You can't cheat anyone because anyone going up to the loot box, exactly, they will get the loot. However, here you have to trust that the first person to get the loot actually will share it with the group, which may or may not be the case.
So better make sure you have good friends. Like let's say it that way, right? So yes.
So yeah, we just used we just cut down the door, as you saw. This is the same technology as is used to harvest rocks and materials out in the world.
Yeah, that's a totally different fucking thing.
Doors, exploring the space around them. And
Darts.
I think Camille playing, so he is actually looting boxes. Thank you. Better for my anxiety.
Let's see what our players encounter. Exploring the space. I love these. These are so different just to seeing desert all of the time. It's lovely.
I do recommend having a shot caller on the team, someone who coordinates, because if everybody just do their own thing, these enemies are not only higher T, they have more health, they're much more aggressive.
Also, can we talk about friendly fire?
Absolutely.
So you won't do damage to your friends with normal darts, things like that. However, area effects, abilities, and the flamethrower will actually damage your friends. They won't take full damage, but you should be careful.
So everything that kind of does area of effect damage, right, will also kind of do damage to your friends.
So things like poison, explosives, flame, when delivered in an AoE, which is also flamethrower.
Damn, dude.
Like you showed me using the assault seeker beforehand. And CC effects like dispenser grenades.
This fucker's taking a lot of shots.
Are also applied in full. So you really need to manage where you deploy your AoE CCs to not hamper your allies. I believe our players have just defeated one of the waves, and then they're now preparing to receive the next. They will rearm and re-equip and be ready to rock and roll. And we'll do maybe some of the shot calling for them instead, because they're all very, very focused on the gameplay.
They also have different builds, different abilities equipped, different weapons, which is interesting. These ones just switch between those different.
I love the camera work that we're doing right here. Like we saw one player focusing an NPC, and then we immediately switched to his friend to focus on the same NPC. This is exactly the kind of coordination players will need to exhibit in these locations. While it may not be obvious until you're actually playing these places, these NPCs are significantly stronger, they're faster, they are much more dangerous. However, some people might
Person needs to heal.
Come here alone. Who knows?
They also retreat, they use cover, they use the same abilities that players have at their disposal as well, depending on how
they'll
kind of
dash and they'll parry much more.
Tons of darts.
I do want to mention one thing again to the beta players, that we have listened to feedback when it comes to how friendly fire works. Friendly fire will still be valid for groups, but we are reworking how they affect guilds, basically.
Prior to this change, both guild mates and group mates were considered allies for the purposes of not taking damage.
Exactly.
This is one of my favorite. Like, I can tell that's a Swordmaster build, because you saw the green effect, which is basically a passive of the Swordmaster archetype. If you kill someone, it will give you a buff for, I think the first level is 15%.
Dude, that gun sucks.
Attack as well, after you kill
You see the Bene Gesserit, they stand apart because their effects are black or dark.
It's very distinct, so players can understand what's happening around them.
Holy shit.
Good group player.
This is very good.
This Hazel, these, especially these things are very dangerous.
It's almost as if they're knowing what they're doing.
Right? It's wonderful.
It's hard to tell how much that gas grenade or whatever that thing is,
What you saw there was
how much damage it did.
They looted them quickly. They didn't have to go into an inventory. You can go into an inventory and just pick the pieces you want, but that was quick looting where you just hit spacebar and you get them one by one.
I think that person's actually kind of poisoned right now. If I like that, you can see the.
So in the paradigm that we have, applying a healing kit will remove poison effects from the players. One of the nice things about poison grenades is that especially both in PvE and PvP, they have a use case. Not only will they force NPCs to move, because NPCs don't like to be in bad clouds of green stuff, it also forces players to actually make a choice between, do I want to stay here and suffer this small
Ooh, that guy's healing.
Effect, or do I want to reposition and heal? There are many ways to use these, and players are. like
Oh,
I said, very
dodge.
close by Dune
That
Awakening.
was
See what
really
happens.
nice there. They're like
Boom.
almost out of stamina. Like
Nice.
Did we
that was
mention-
really nicely played though.
I don't think we mentioned, but enemies will. Oh, yeah, you saw one. And enemies will
They will
actually.
revive,
They will
yeah.
actually. Sometimes they run away, and you wonder what they're doing. They're doing the same thing the player is doing. They're actually
Yeah.
running away to heal, so
To
that
heal.
they can come back.
And they can of course also revive themselves. They can get out of the down but not out state
Exactly,
as well,
yeah.
like players can.
I love the floating light machine gun, the character build just there that we saw a second
Oh
ago.
yeah.
That's a throwback to the one.
The
that remember
turrets.
what's-
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah, I was
see what
about
we
to
do
mention it
next.
earlier because we've seen it a few times now. We haven't actually commented on it,
Yeah.
which is
Here we see it, the turret. Yeah.
yes, which is a mentat ability. If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
Mentat.
It's like actually
So
kind of
this
interesting.
person just consumed spice.
And now we're in Prescient state again. So
Yep.
see all the
That's a
information.
lot of NPCs.
Boom, that's one
What
down.
we do? A little bit of panic.
All their
little bit of
abilities are on
crossfire.
cooldown. Oh shit.
Will our team survive and succeed and receive
Nice.
the rewards?
That's another one.
Depends on the hardware, from what I understand.
Nice one. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, brownie folds. That was really nice.
Nice.
Very good. I enjoy it.
Unscripted joke.
Oh,
Awesome. Not that we have
Enemies.
anything scripted.
Set down
here, really,
the
but,
what?
that was really
Set down the
here we
turret.
go. 1, 2. Ooh. Through the shield. Shield
Oh,
broken.
oh,
Almost
oh.
broken.
He's gonna.
He's still focusing on.
Nice.
Okay.
Got him.
That's a flamethrower heavy.
Also,
And he's
we've
burning some
seen.
friends.
Also, we've seen a knife earlier, like, and now we actually see a sword in action.
One of the big differences that Villa mentioned before.
Damn,
is
dude,
the
there's a fucking
gameplay
lot of these
stylization.
guys.
Swords are an area.
It's
of
hard to
control.
tell
That's
who's
a little
who,
bit
though.
slower than daggers, but daggers allow you to quickly attack, and also
There's got to be a better
one of
way
the
to.
things that we really want to focus on for our melee playstyles, which is not super evident right now, but soon TM will be, is that they are all distinct, have a gameplay role that players can choose to enjoy.
Oh shit!
and
Another
gameplay
fucking
roles
load
that
of
are
them.
meaningful and engaging, and they will have distinct counters and strengths and weaknesses.
I mean, I gotta say it again. I love melee. I'm like, it's my build. Like, I combine Swordmaster plus Chest Read skills.
Like, yeah, dude,
absolutely love
I-
it. Plus
I
have a sniper rifle.
am having a
'Cause I
difficult
either wanna
time
be super far
seeing who
away
is
and
who
hit
here.
Really fast or be in their face. Like, that's kind of place.
Ooh, he just got messed
There
up.
we saw a suspensor blast from the
Yeah.
enemy there, which staggered our friend here.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure. Oh, no.
Oh, and again.
So here we see some special
Oh
NPCs.
shit! He
These
just got
NPCs
messed up.
are configured to be different
Oh,
from
shit, he
normal
just got
skills,
messed up.
wherein the actions in the build
Oh,
are
shit, he
power
just
and
got
much,
messed
much
up.
more,
Oh, they're really
much
wailing
less
on.
cool. That's
Oh
the
shit!
thing.
He
Oh,
just got messed
Oh
up.
my God.
Oh.
Work hard and survive. It's bad.
Oh.
No cheating.
Should have used that prescience.
Where was I? Right. Some of these NPCs are configured quite differently to the normal experience outside of the deep desert. They have abilities that players do. They are on a lower cooldown, and they are much more eager to use them against players.
Aggressive. Let's
Very.
call it aggressive. Yeah, they're very aggressive. Yes.
ability use. Oh, they defeated the wave.
They
That's
did
fantastic.
actually. Yeah, they did defeat
And
them.
then we are waiting. Oh, and they're prepping as well with turrets and everything. Right.
What are they
Was it gonna
prepping for?
See where the next wave comes in from.
Oh, there's another wave, huh?
Oh, bubbles. Bubbles everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
A bit of focus.
Be nice there. You can see all the abilities that specific NPC has.
Mm. They need to defeat all of the NPCs before the next wave triggers. Oh, actually, was that the last wave?
I was just wondering that. I was just about to ask.
I
like,
believe our friends
Yeah,
have
yeah.
successfully succeeded.
because it's actually because the door is green there.
Yeah.
So just an ask.
Good job.
Good job, team. It was wonderful.
And we can see here on the left, in the
Yeah.
lower left corner, that they are all grouped up. You see the names of them and everything. So
Right. Yes.
good going group, good going team.
Absolutely. One of
Someone took one for the team, which is totally okay. Someone you have to have a sacrificial lamb.
the, and now that awkward moment where trust is tested in terms of who chooses who gets the loot.
Exactly.
Who knows?
Well, you have
Exactly.
a leader. You have a leader who hopefully like distributes loot fairly. But yeah, you nicely see there the group set. Actually, the group setups has changed.
Okay.
Oh, it's oof.
Who? setup is changing there behind the scenes. Okay, yeah, nice.
It's one of those moments when friends decide not to be nice to each other.
Where
Say it
friends
again.
won't be
Make
friends.
sure you know your friends. You have close friends.
Yeah.
Was it like
Oh.
keep your friends close? No, keep your enemy close. No, keep your friends close, your enemy closer.
Friends close, enemies closer. Don't disrespect
from
the Godfather.
second perspective. Oof.
It's just, this is a single.
So, a 2-on-2 fight, a 2-on-2 player fight in a confined space is going to get messy. There's going to be colors on the screen. There's going to be effects going off. We will see if we can comment as best as we can to what's happening.
See,
feel like
there's
esports
someone
commentator,
dead there already.
like-
Oh, they took somebody down. That was very fast.
Is it 2
No.
versus 1
Oh,
now?
stamina
Or
loss.
is it? Yeah, 2 versus 1. Yeah. Ooh, nice.
So, are they going after each other now?
This is very
I don't
bad.
understand.
Oh, someone went
And he
prescient.
managed to catch him.
cheating. They're cheating.
No.
I would call it cheating. If someone goes person and I can't, it's obviously cheating. Someone
I
has like.
believe somebody got betrayed.
Looks like it.
And there's another. Oh, there's a second
Ooh,
betrayal.
that was a
So now
Bennett
they're
Chester,
all
it's skill.
betraying each
That's like-
other.
That's like the ultimate betrayal. If you use a Bennett Chester, it's skill on your friend.
Yeah.
That is just the ultimate
The
betrayal.
question is, who is the better player?
This is an interesting fight.
This is very close.
Yeah.
It's very close.
Oh, it's
Someone
getting
ran out of
staggered.
stamina.
No, yeah. It's 1v1.
Oh.
Oh,
And then we
it's
saw the new whirlwind.
Yeah.
Sword is there. Oh, I believe. Oh, the count is back. Needs to be a little bit more ability use and a little bit better stamina management. Bank your stamina and deploy it in one big burst.
Actually, you don't see the stamina.
So
on
this is
the other
PvP,
players, even
boom.
if you're prescient, which is actually really. I think that's. Oh,
Oh, boom.
that's close. It almost got
There was a,
One of the players is sitting
some
right
ten- some
here,
tension in the
and he
room
just
here.
went like throw his head back, and his headphone just went flying. It's just like, well done, though, team. Well done. That
there
was
can only
great.
be one.
There can only be one. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There can only be
Damn,
one.
okay.
Yeah, make sure you have close friends before if you go into these type of
It's
collabs.
like these kind of situations is
PvP
actually
situations.
one of the paradigms that we've designed the game around, which is making friends and enemies. We don't really care which is which, but if you're making friends, if you're making enemies, the game will sustain itself, I think.
Remember them along the way.
Exactly.
I
That
would
was
care who are my
cool.
friends.
There
I think
were
we
there's
don't
some
get to switch, but,
jank there, but
it's-
it does look really
also
cool and
like to
fun.
backstab people, so there you go. Like in terms of friends and enemies and
That's
enemies.
great.
And, yeah, so.
I very much enjoyed that. I didn't expect a double backstab at all.
the double backstab.
Well,
Okay,
plans
no
within
pun
plans within
intended.
plans. You know, that's how it goes.
What
no
now?
Pun intended. Who was the instigator? I blame Camille, by the way, behind the scenes there.
I think I
so-
saw him play some mine or something.
He's
talk about
denying.
that.
He's denying it. I don't believe him. I don't believe him. I'm 100% sure. I know it wasn't anyone else. My mind was Camille. Anyway, that was the combat section. Thank you so much, Vilja and Alex, for being here chatting and showing off some of the gameplay. We have, of course, as we mentioned earlier today, beta weekend coming up that a lot of players will be able to enjoy and test the combat in Dune Awakening themselves. You will be able to stream, you will be able to show videos and things from that beta weekend. Sometime next month, more concrete information regarding that will, of course, come soon from our side. But before we dive into the next segment, we are just gonna have a little bit of a break, and we'll be right back.
Okay. Well, what I saw looked cool. It looked fun. It looked like what I wanted.
The most dangerous planet in the universe. Dune Awakening is a multiplayer survival game on a massive scale, where the open, ever-changing world ensures exploration
They
remains a
need to
vital
rework that
activity.
grenade for sure. That
Join
grenade
us
is
as
fucking
we
stupid.
traverse the
It
breathtaking
doesn't do any
landscapes
damage.
and uncover what the
It's not a
sands have
grenade.
Follow in the footsteps of the native Fremen and learn to overcome the deadly environment. Collect materials to
I saw
craft
them
a
throw it
shelter,
right into a group
still
of enemies and it didn't do
and
shit.
your first vehicle, then venture into the desert. With a scanning module installed, you can scan for resources in smaller areas. Or climb the highest peaks to launch a survey probe, revealing large swaths of terrain and important locations like shipwrecks or abandoned Imperial testing stations. Traverse difficult terrain with tools like the Shigawire Claw and Suspensor Belt, and claim powerful tech and gear.
Okay.
Expand your fleet of vehicles and upgrade them with new modules to suit your playstyle. From the cockpit of the iconic Ornithopter, even the most remote expanses of Arrakis are within your reach. In the deep desert, massive Coriolis storms regularly sweep across the land with monstrous power, changing the entire map every week. As new resources and secrets are revealed, the race to survey the vast new landscape begins anew. Be the first to mark the location of precious resources, and give the map to your allies, or sell it to other players on the exchange. Here, there are no paths to tread, only power to claim. This is infinite exploration. This is Arrakis.
So you buy the map every week
All right, and we are back.
because the map changes based on the Coriolis storms.
We know that, of course, we're following commands and things that we see on the internet, on our social channels.
Joel
and
is
we know
there,
that
okay.
some of
That's
you
the
have
head
been
dude.
concerned regarding Head Start and how our servers actually work. What the hell was that? Stop it. This guy. It's the worst. No, anyway. So we, of course, have heard your concerns. Thank you. So we know which troublemaker is actually sitting on the side here. I'll introduce him soon enough. Don't worry. But anyway, we're going to talk about server structure and also social play, like, because some of you were concerned if someone starts Head Start and you start later, can you still play with your friends? How is that going to work for groups and guilds?
Dude, look, what is that guy wearing on his foot?
We're actually going to talk about
Looks
this.
like
And here
his
to talk
shoe
about that
has
is
toes.
This troublemaker,
Unless
Joel.
he's wearing socks.
Game oh my god. Save me, please. No. The game director, you know him, you love him, maybe you hate him, I don't know. No, we'll love him.
I'm sure it'll be
Despite
both.
everything.
Equal elements of both, like yin and yang.
But you want to introduce yourself quickly anyway, just to the chat.
Sure, my name is Chris Knife. I'm the creative director on Dune Awakening. And I'm joined here by luscious Leo.
Yeah.
And Leo, you are?
I'm Leo. I'm
Laid
lead
back
game
Leo.
designer on Dune Awakening. And,
So Joel, I can tell that dude's really happy that he got those 3
Oslo,
weeks.
And I also work with building systems and the social systems.
Indeed.
Right.
And this is going to be one of those sections you will love where we talk and we don't show gameplay for a few seconds.
That's true. We have assets though. We have videos and little
There's
cool videos
there's
and
a
visual assets.
very cool infographic that someone made.
Which we're having on the screen any second now, because we talk about server structure.
That was the wrong
That is
one.
not the one. That is the right
that's
one.
the right
Perfect.
one. Well
there we go.
done.
Again,
Champion.
it's a live stream. What would a live stream be without some hiccups?
I've seen this.
Please, Joel, talk to us about
They've talked about
server
this
structure,
so
servers,
much.
worlds, all the good stuff.
All right, cool. I will talk to you about this, Natasha. So Dune Awakening has a very unique, somewhat different server structure to the type of games you'd expect. If you're a survival player, you're probably used to one map, one server. But Dune Awakening has kind of a larger server structure on the back end. So we have what we call worlds. Worlds are made up of multiple servers, which we call internally sietches. So often when you join a sietch, you'll see here in this infographic that Hager Basin has this big stack of sietches. So when you sign up, you'll choose your world and then you'll join a sietch within that world. Each of those Hager Basin sietches contains maximum 40 players per map.
Right.
But all of those maps add up to create the entire world. The deep desert, the social hubs like Harko Village and Arakeen, they are actually shared social spaces in the world. The deep desert being the big PvP area in the world. And of course, like, so we're talking about, like, we have this 5-day head start. I know people are concerned. The thing is, you'll be able to join worlds that we open during that head start. We will also open more worlds when the game launches. But you can also join a sietch in a world that isn't necessarily the same sietch as your friend, but you'll be able to go and visit your friend. You'll be able to do a lot of stuff with your friends. So it's kind of, you're not going to be locked out for the most part of any content when you join after the head start. Also, I would say get better friends and let them buy you the head start. That's another thing
That's
I think is
another
a really
option,
good
yes.
option.
That's the way to go.
Yeah, you also said 40
Yeah, buy the
players
head start.
per max per server or siege. What happens if someone joins anyway? If there's like
If
40 players.
more than 40 people try to join at one time, so it's concurrent users, so CCU, and that means that like then they'll be put into a queue to wait to join. So we can have more characters on a server than 40. We can have, you know, several hundred. But that means people play at different times of day when people join, so there will be a queuing system in place to allow people to wait in line to get into the servers, of course.
right. And you briefly just mentioned it, visiting. So you don't actually have to be on the same, or you don't have to start necessarily in the same server. There are some caveats to it, but let's talk a little bit more about that. How does visiting a friend on another server work?
Well, the first and most important step is to get a friend. This is often achieved by going to a cafe or a movie theater and just striking up a conversation with a random stranger. Then once you have a friend and they are also into Dune Awakening, which is also a big moment. Oh, my mic, sorry. I have tech support here because my mic sucks. Was I talking too loudly? Or
And also, it'd be good to have the visiting friends. We actually have a little video or an asset that shows that too, how you can actually visit a friend. Or
we were
another.
talking about how to make friends first.
Sorry, well, we can talk about make friends.
he's-
How do you make friends?
He's enabled sexy mode now. So
Like
now I first of all, how I
Perfect.
make friends is I talk to them in a voice like this.
Now we have it there.
Okay,
Let's go.
so once you've
Okay.
made friends, and you can see friends automatically because they're added from your Steam list as well. So if you have them as a friend on Steam, they will show up in your friends list in the game
Okay.
automatically. Then you go to the friends page. You simply click them and say, I want to visit this friend.
I
It will
see.
teleport you to the nearest trade post to that friend because obviously teleporting directly to them would be exploitable in infinite amounts of ways. Once you're there, you can join up with your friend, do everything on that siege with them, except for one specific thing, and that is build. You can't claim land. You can build on their base. You can be given ownership of their base and be able to build all the parts of their base.
I
but
see.
you don't own the specific land claim.
Got it.
And that's just for database reasons. We need to make sure that we control how many people build in different locations.
Okay.
And then, of course, when you want to go home, you just push escape and choose return to home dimension, and it will take you back.
Right, and you can also do contracts and journey steps, like with your friends that way as well. That will kind of carry over when you
Players.
go back to your home world. as
Yeah,
well.
all of the
Or home
content in
server,
the
sorry.
game is accessible with this visiting feature.
Click
so you can
that.
basically do everything.
Please wait
everything that
seconds
could do
before
in
you
a
can
group,
connecting,
do,
traveling, in
on someone
queue,
else's world.
and boom.
can do it
There
in
you
your own
go.
world. So
Okay.
there is this cross-play feature for everyone. You'll be able to,
Dude, this
work
is
together.
such a,
So I
like,
think people are concerned about like, oh, I won't be able to meet my
the
friends. who
scope
started,
of this
but
game is
this shouldn't be a
fucking
problem. You should be able to
insane.
play with people, even if you're not in the same exact siege when you start playing.
Right.
Like, damn,
so,
man.
We have talked about playing with your friends. Obviously, you can play solo, but then there's the usual things that you have in games, groups, guilds. Maybe Leo can talk a little bit about what kind of options are there to play with your friends besides visiting like their server.
Yeah, so let's start with groups. So we saw that a bit earlier.
Like,
in
this is
previous
so
segments,
ambitious,
right,
this
with,
game.
Group combat. So groups are temporary social structures of up to 4 people. And they come with some benefits like seeing your group member status on the HUD. You see them as markers on the map.
Groups with benefits, huh?
Yeah.
Groups.
Exactly.
Love those.
Okay,
Love
so
it.
now
It's
they
convenient,
joined
right?
up together.
So, and then you have standard features like chat connected to that as well. And yeah, makes it more convenient to game
Party
with your friends.
disbanded, okay.
Wow, Leo, could you go deeper into chat?
Deeper into chat, yes. So this is a groundbreaking feature that we've developed, right? Never seen before in online games.
I think more importantly, a more important question, but thank you, Joel.
Sorry.
Like, how many people can be in a group?
Oh, 4.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. So the party
Including
leader
the
plus
leader.
3 additional ones, right?
Yeah,
Yes. Compared to guilds.
So guilds are more of a long-term social structures, right? So you can be up to 32 players in a guild, and they're structured with hierarchies where you have one leader, any number of officers to help manage the guild, and then a roster of members as well.
Okay.
And guilds, they of course also have this groundbreaking chat feature like that we have.
What?
Yeah.
What?
And yeah, and both parties or groups and the guilds, they are across the world, right? So if you meet some people in the deep desert and you want to game together, you can do that. It doesn't matter if you're on different servers, still works fine. And yeah, something else you can also do with the guilds is that once you progress through individual faction alignment far enough, you can actually align your character to
Atreides or Harkonnen,
and
right?
As a continuation of that, you can give the allegiance of your guild to one of the
Great
major
houses.
So either
Now, Leo, you like to be an Atreides, but I like to be a Harkonnen. And if we're in a guild together, and you pledge allegiance to the Atreides Lord, what's going to happen to me?
you're going to get booted right out of it.
You can make a guild with me. I'm Harkonnen too, so
Nice,
it's fine.
nice.
Yeah,
Hardcore
we'll just-
Harkonnen. We have to shave our
let's go
heads, but we're
Harkonnen.
good.
Yeah,
We're good.
Yeah.
Totally
Don't
fine.
allow mixed guilds.
totally okay. No mixed skills.
No house mixing in this game.
Yeah.
Coke Zero kind of sucks, but
We talk
Pepsi
about
Zero
chat.
is
When we
dope.
talk about chat, you mean actually text chat. However, we do actually have proximity chat as
We
well.
do have
Like,
proximity voice chat as
proximity
well.
voice chat. Yes,
Common
I think.
feature of survival games.
Off by default, so that you don't have to be annoyed by that person running past swearing.
But what is it? Anyway,
You
I
can
think
turn
it's
it on.
fun. I think, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
voice proximity is
chat
fun. You just,
it's
you know,
super fun.
we got to protect the people's ears.
I know. No, I mean, it's good that you can choose. Some
Yeah,
people
you
don't
can
like
choose.
it, some people enjoy it. So you can choose. But what we also see there is edit permission. So when we talk about guilds, we do actually have a whole permission system in the game for a whole lot of things, right? Like, tell us a little bit more about that,
Yeah,
Leo.
so survival games commonly have this type of bases, right, that you can build in the world, and we have that as well. And we have a longer term persistence than most survival games. So we needed some robust way of sharing access to certain type of assets in the game, right? Like bases, but also vehicles. So here we also have this hierarchical type of system similar to what we have in guilds. So here you can see on screen now for vehicles, for example, where you can add your friends to a list, which gives them some type of access depending on
Gives
what
them
you
access to
want
use
promote
it.
them to. So
Okay, that's pretty
they can
cool.
be associates or they can be co-owners. So it's the same system for bases and vehicles.
I see.
The way each rank works is that it comes with a certain specific rights. So, for example, for removing the sub-thief console here that you see, you require owner level permission. So only the owner of the sub-thief can do that.
So make sure you
you
give.
don't want anyone else doing
No,
that.
you make sure you give the right permissions to
Yeah.
again the friends that you can actually
Damn, dude,
trust.
this game is so
And then
deep.
we also have this,
Holy.
additional level that you can control the specific access level required for each object in your base. So take a door, for example. If you want to set that to only be accessible by you as an owner, you can do that. If you want to set it to be accessible by co-owners or associates, you can do that. But then we also have 2 additional levels. So you can set a door or machine or anything like that to be accessible by any guild member or also by the public. If you want to be nice to the travelers or that are coming by, give them some shelter.
We actually have seen that in the beta. We
Yeah.
have like several beta players who just build bases and then open it up to everyone, especially like at the beginning to new players. So they can come in, they can get some water, they can get some basic resources and just you can do that. You can be a nice guy or a nice
Or you can
girl
trap
or a
them
nice
and
person.
kill them. That's
yes.
also an
I mean, that's
alternative.
the other thing. Like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
How
depending on.
could you walk us through how the permission system works for the erotic role playing crowd?
For that,
Okay,
yeah, that's
so-
another stream, I think.
Okay, let's
Oh,
go.
come on,
Let's
we
get
know they're a huge
into like.
audience.
So when we go into all this level of control that you have over permissions, and it can be a little bit like intimidating almost if you go intimidating. You know what is it?
Damn, dude, this
yeah, I know.
guy's a little.
Anyway,
You're intimidating.
Yes.
I get it. You scare me.
I'm intimidated.
Shoulders down.
This
So
guy's
it's getting
having a
bit
good
intimidating
day.
because it
You can
feels like a lot
tell.
of work, but there's
A
actually
lot of
more
weight was just
streamlined,
lifted off this
option
guy's
that you can do
shoulders.
as well, and it makes it a bit more easier.
He was
to
worried.
Set all these permissions.
Yeah, so we have a lot of assets tied to Joel's scenario here that he painted, and you want to
Assets
give.
tied.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to give access to a lot of bases and vehicles used for his scenario, then.
So you have to manage permission. It looks like you have to manage permissions for each thing.
Access to a lot of assets, And it's a simple list where you can click, okay, I want to give this person access to that base, that base, that base, and these 3 vehicles, and it's done from a distance. So it's
Or
very
permissions.
convenient to set up.
Absolutely.
Role overview.
Cool.
Associate.
I think this is actually. Oh no, we have actually one last thing. We have a little overview visual that shows where in the world we have our
A
worlds.
server farm.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
There we go.
So, I mean, this is where we're going to have servers
West Coast.
at launch across the world.
The west side
So
is the best
people can see- I
side.
mean, the one in Australia, it's actually kind of on the east coast because it's closer to Sydney. And I see that the Australian name is in the wrong place, but that's okay. I don't
It's
expect
fine.
The west
We're not talking-
side is the
we're
best
not
side.
talking
No one in the
top
northern
level.
hemisphere gives a shit
It's
about my
fine.
country.
We're not
But it's-
talking about the actual locations right now.
But
We're
we
just
will
talking
have
about high
we
level.
will have servers in all of these countries and locations, so people will
can
have the best
choose.
possible ping. I think the most screwed people are in South Africa, but we also believe that because they don't know where they parked their car because they're South African and they speak Afrikaans, they can connect quickly to South America. It's fine. It's fine. That's usually the best ping for them.
Perfect. Okay, but you'll see. We'll have
Damn,
tons of
this-
options for you to choose from to make sure
This
you
guy's
have,
acting crazy.
competitive ping at least, especially also for PvP, of course, very important since we have quite a lot of people interested in PvP as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think that's it for the actual segments. Joel, thank you so much for your contribution to this stream. We always appreciate it.
It was a pleasure to be here.
I'll
today.
be talking to HR tomorrow, but no,
Again?
it's okay. It's all fine. Again, it's like my 10th complaint. No, also Leo, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
your time
and,
as well.
thank
Actually,
you.
we will see you again shortly,
Yep.
because after a quick break, we actually go into our Q&A. Leo will be back. Joel will unfortunately not be here for the Q&A. We will have you on the stream again.
Yeah,
Don't
and
worry
fine.
about it.
To the
Once he
audience,
calmed a little bit down from his caffeine overdose, I don't know.
To the audience, I hope you enjoyed the dry humor. That's how we roll on Arrakis. You
The
know?
vibing, the dry humor on
I was
Arrakis.
just super keen to do this live stream today.
Oh dear God. Okay, yeah, let's just go with the video. Beautiful Arrakis.
I love your highliner, by the way.
You know, they make each of these live streams kind of long. Like, it's not just some short little bullshit. Like, I respect that. They really care about this game. It's clear they really, really care. And the level of depth and the ambitiousness and the scope is just like, damn, man, these guys are going for like a home run, grand slam, 9th inning World Series for the win. Like, they're swinging for the fences big time with this. And I love that. Like, go big or go home. And I think that is cool. And it looks like for the most part they've nailed it. Like, there's some jank, some little jank here and there, but it looks like they got it. It looks like they did a pretty damn good job of this. Like, I am really looking forward to it. The game looks really good. Really cool. Even with the extra time they're spending and giving themselves an extra 3 weeks to test the servers. Hopefully we'll get into this closed beta weekend. Hopefully we'll be able to get into it. I would like to play it. I would very much like to play it. I've been trying to get into the beta for a year and a half, close to 2 years, and they haven't let me in. Little pig, let me come in. That's Atreides. I'm gonna have to add a bunch of drops. I got this one.
I don't want peace. I want problems, always.
Yeah, that's how it's gonna be in PvP. I don't want peace. I want problems always.
Welcome back, everyone. We are still preparing a few things behind the scenes for our Q&A.
Okay.
But I have now Viljar and Leo back to answer your questions. Before we do that, again, for those of you who have joined us a bit later, you might have heard.
I wonder if
about
I
the
can
fact that
answer
we
a
have been
question.
moving the release date of
Or
Dune
ask a
Awakening,
question, excuse me.
weeks back
Nah.
to the 10th of June with a head start starting on the 5th of June, which is not cause for any concern. It's really just because we want to add some more polish to some of the things in the game, and it gives that opportunity. Additionally, we also will have the opportunity to do a large-scale beta. So many of you will have the chance to actually try out the game for themselves.
I hope so.
That won't be under an NDA, so we will be able to show, you'll be able to stream, you'll be able to do videos and all that good stuff. But actually, I have a question for you too. Like, what is your favorite thing in the game to do when you actually play? When you look at it as a player, like turn off your developer brain. Is that working? Does that actually work? Can you do that and play the game? And if you do that, what is your favorite thing to do?
So for me, I love the fact that the game is so much more than one thing. It's not just a game about combat. It's like we have all these different elements. You have the way that we harvest both just water and resources, things like that. Then you can mix it up and go do an ecolab like we just saw. And then I really like how things come together. You might be driving away from a sandworm and then suddenly there's a sandstorm on the way. You drive past an enemy camp and they start shooting at you. Suddenly you run out and you try to take care of them. You get hit by heat stroke, and then it's like, okay, the sandstorm was upon me. I have to find shelter, but I also have to take out these enemies. Like, I like fast games where you have a lot of second-to-second decisions to make, and I think that our game beautifully supports that.
What about you, Leo?
Yeah, so I actually started a new playthrough last week, playing quite a bit, and what I'm really enjoying now is setting up my base production facilities and the related mining activities that come from that. So especially the vehicle mining, I'm having a good time with that, going around in my buggy, going up in the turret, finding mining nodes to get my resources from. And
it can be very relaxing too. Like that's one of the things that you mentioned that to me earlier, actually, when we talked a little bit as well, and I totally agree with that. We have both the combat aspect that is very like, nerf wracking, can be like get your pulse up, and then we have the mining who can be actually very zen with like following those lines and things, and I really like that kind of juxtaposition of things as well.
Yeah, we actually spent a lot of time and effort trying to make the harvesting, the cutter rate, to make it work and be, like you said, like sand-like and everything like that. And although there is some progression on the patterns that you harvest from, but it still needs to be sand-like, because the thing is, hopefully you'll be playing this game for thousands of hours, and having something that is that intense all the time, I just didn't think that would be right for the game.
No, it's exhausting,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. So you have combat if you want that experience, but then if you want to relax a little bit and just chill, you can, as you say, go with your buggy and harvest.
So what's going on right now is that I'm looking, okay, what's the next tech that I want to get to, right? Okay, what do I need for that? I need this thing, this thing, this thing. Oh, I have these already, right? I went out to some expeditions earlier, but these two things are new. I wonder where I'm going to get those. So I hop in my buggy and I drive out and I hunt for resources.
Yeah.
And it turns into an adventure.
Yeah.
Sometimes a bit too adventurous. I lost my bike yesterday, but
oh yeah, I know that feeling. I think everyone goes through that at least once. So like, it's just kind of part of the experience, the Dune Awakening experience.
I got my lesson.
But I think we're actually ready for the questions. Another thing I just wanted to mention before we go into questions is like, what I really love is the weird things that can happen. Like, we saw that, like, actually you posted that, I think, where you were driving through the desert. You were looking for the worm, and there was like a crash, like one of the dynamic ships that can crash and like crash down onto the surface, crashed like literally like 2 meters next to you.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
had no idea that was coming down. That was just like it's moments like this that I
That was
find
in
incredibly
the last
engaging
live stream.
and fun.
I think he's probably the guy who did the combat last time.
Anyway, so we are ready.
All right, let's see.
For some questions.
Let's
We
go.
have the first question from Orangeshire. Can the player select which siege they got to connect to? As
Dude,
their
they
home
already
dimension,
answered this.
Or it's randomly assigned.
Yeah, so you get to choose your worlds, and in that world there are many servers which are the sieges, and you can pick the siege that you actually want to connect to. So you don't have to do it in any order, and you don't. And it's
Yeah,
not
they
randomly
answered
assigned.
this already.
Right, and you can talk to your friends again, like to make sure they're on the same siege
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah,
or
it's a good
at least
idea.
in the same world as well, because then
Yeah.
you can still visit and all that.
Yeah, you want to align on that before you start, so you pick the
For
right
sure.
one.
Yes, for sure, absolutely. I'm gonna butcher these usernames again. I apologize beforehand if I do. CF Olsen, CF Olsen. If you already align to one house, can you later change it to align with the same house as the guild is? So basically, if you can change, right? If your guild is another alignment.
Yeah, you can. You can betray your house.
But only once.
Once. They won't take that lightly, so you better think about this really carefully. Like, for align you first. And
Yeah,
if
it's
you
frowned
betray.
upon.
Yep. They don't like
Take
that.
kindly to it. Okay. Well, I'm not going to
Peter,
betray
and
my
then
house. That's for
76
sure.
asks, can you progress far without PvP, or is this game
Here we go.
mainly going to be around PvP?
So you can play in the survival area, the survival game map that we have, which is 8 by 8 kilometers, and you don't have to PvP at all in that.
Dude, so many
now
people
going
are
to
concerned
the
about
desert,
PvP.
You don't have to PvP. It's just that you run the risk of PvP. And as what I talked about earlier is that we have all these tools where you can quickly get away. So the goal was that people who don't want to PvP may still go there for the loot, but be on the lookout for enemies coming, and then just drive away really fast, or you using your ornithopter as you would to get away, or if you get jumped, use your abilities to
Get
get
jumped.
Away. So we didn't want to have people be ganked very early on, and we thought that, well, at this point you played the game for 100 hours, so you probably know your way around the disruptor, right? So when you get there, people who will PvP you, but they will actually meet people who know how to play the game. So that was the goal. Now, not everyone is going to love that, but like PvP, but you can then run away. As I said, you don't have to engage with them to get the things.
It's almost as if you decide to opt into PvP, you actually put yourself under higher risk than someone that says, I'm only going to play PvE in the game. And also, we haven't actually talked about
this game is
game
PvP
system,
and
which
PvE.
does have
If you
PvP,
don't want to
but
play
you can actually also
PvP,
influence that with PvE as
this
well. So
might
it's
not be the
full
best
PvP
game for you
battle, so
because
there's a lot of
PvP is a
options for
big
PvE.
part of the end game.
Yeah, definitely. You can play the game for hundreds, thousands of hours without engaging in PvP. easily.
But you can play the game for thousands of hours without
Oh
PvP.
my god, now I'm
Is the
outing myself as an old
slow
woman.
blade
Unpaid
automatic?
taxes,
No,
that's
it's
the name.
not.
That's just the name. That's fantastic. Love it.
You have to
Unpaid
hold the
taxi
mouse.
off. Is the slow blade automatic?
So we have two main attacks for the blade, like the basic ones, if you don't have any skills or abilities associated with it. So we have the quick attack, and then we call it the stab, even though it's with swords and everything you can do the slow blade there. So you can do the quick attack, which is effective to stagger enemies, so you get time to actually deliver the slow blade. Now, if you use the slow blade on an unshielded enemy, you will have a quick in, and then no, I'm going to lose the thread here. It works differently. So basically, The slow
Let's
blade
go, bro.
is automatic in the sense that it will trigger if you do a stab, so to speak. I guess
Basically,
that's the way to get away with it.
it's a special. You do it as a special attack, so it's a special. Like you hold your mouse button basically
exactly,
longer.
yeah.
You just click it, so it is a special trigger, and then the animation will.
Do you
play
lose
it on that,
more
but it doesn't
durability on
automatically happen,
melee
you have to
weapons
trigger
than
it
range?
Yeah,
actively.
exactly.
Yeah, you look for opportunity, right? And there, I can get the timing in right. Okay, now I hold, and now I get the slow blade.
Yeah, and also it takes quite a long time to actually execute a slow blade because it's called slow blade. So you have to make sure your enemies either staggered or they do something that they don't immediately can retaliate, right? So I think that's also.
I think I can explain what I tried to say earlier.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you go against an unshielded enemy, you will hold for a bit, so it will be akin to a heavy attack, and then you'll do it fast. Whereas with the slow blade, you go fast in, and then the slow is on when you actually connect through the shield. So that's
yes, actually that's correct because you have the heavy attack plus the slow blade, and those happen differently. Like if you're up against a shielded enemy or not a shielded enemy. That's kind of what you meant.
The procedure to trigger it is the same. It's just that it's contextual whether someone has a shield or not.
Yeah. I really need glasses, I think, or better. Sorvina Savage, I think?
Yeah, that's right.
Sorvina Savage. I also, to my defense, I'm actually also sitting further away.
The fact that she's actually trying to get these usernames is pretty cool.
I'm cheating a bit.
I wouldn't even...
Do you lose durability on melee weapons? Do you lose more durability on melee weapons than range to offset ammunition use of ranged weapons? That's a good question.
That's
a very
extremely detailed. I don't have the answer for that. And as we balance things, that might go up and down. I don't have the exact numbers.
The numbers.
I don't think it's a major concern, at least. The
Durability's not a major concern,
cheap,
hopefully.
So you
Ammo's
will
cheap.
Some of it, and the rest you'll just pull
Craft.
out your cut array, harvest a couple of scrap metal piles, and then you have plenty so that you can quickly craft them on your person. So it's pretty trivial.
It's not actually a resource that's very important compared to like stamina, ability cooldowns, and other things, right?
Yeah.
In the context of things. Black Lion Apps is asking, can I swap active skills during combat?
Oh, good question.
You can swap your skills. However, if they're on a cooldown, you'll not be allowed to swap them.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can swap your skills.
Tyler, that's easy for once. Tyler's asking, can you learn all skills available in the game?
Yes. The answer to that is yes, I think.
You cannot actually. You can go pretty far down
Oh, you
in
cannot.
several of them, or you can go to the end of a few of them, but you won't be able to get all the skills from all the trees.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know
You
that.
actually had that at one point
Ooh.
that you were able to get everything.
Oh,
but then you made it
shit.
much more interesting also with the I call them cornerstones, but the capstones,
yeah.
capstone skills, yeah. So
Yeah.
you actually will have to make decisions in terms of where do you spend your points. I personally really like that. I think it's more interesting as well. That's Serena Savage again. Will NPCs pick targets based on threats, closest player, or use tactics?
Again, that's also quite specific. I wish Alex was here. So they're like with these things. There's always a
Dude,
combination,
if
and you wait.
these
things.
people
So
are
it's like,
asking
well,
questions, I want to ask questions.
Someone might have a higher threat at a longer distance. Who do you deal with? So we have weighted this, so it's like it should feel natural.
Let's see. Let's see if
the
I
way
can
that
ask a question.
It works, but again, I don't have the exact numbers for how that's balanced.
The thing is, I actually asked Alex that question, I think, yesterday during one of our chats as well. And he said what you just said too, though. Like, the NPCs are actually taking several aspects into consideration. How far is that player away? How much damage? How big of a threat is that character? Like, what kind of abilities did they use previously and all that? So there's quite of a complex mechanic behind how NPCs will react to you.
They do have tactics, so they change how they play depending on if there's one of them, obviously, and if there's more of them, and depending on difficulty, we'll scale it so that the second NPC might not be as aggressive in the early game as they would be in the later game, for instance.
Armored Scooter. Armored Scooter is asking, will soda cars be killable, or are they meant to be the ultimate enemy?
So we have the Sardaukar dropships, but Chom mercenaries drop from them. So you will kill them, but they are not proper Sardaukar.
You're just not important enough early on,
Yeah,
specifically,
exactly.
that they would deal with you.
Yeah.
They just sent there.
Let's see. I asked a couple
Sardaukar, that would
questions.
be part
I'll
of-
try a
it's
couple.
not the normal approach.
Don't spoil
Yeah,
anything.
exactly. You won't.
Maybe you'll
Yeah.
have
I'll try to
find out.
get.
They're not part of the normal NPC roster, so to speak.
Mac Wolverson asks, are there any hunter seekers in the game to use?
Indeed, they are the last ability in one of the trees. I
Yes,
could
we
tell
actually-
you which tree, but I'm not going to.
No, we don't do that. But we've actually shown the hunter seeker in a few gameplay or in like early videos.
Yeah.
We haven't shown the hunter seeker today in the combat sections. Actually, we used other abilities, but
Yeah.
it's absolutely.
We used its sibling, the Assault Seeker.
Yes, exactly. The one you saw, the ability that
Yeah.
Alex in his solo gameplay was like throwing.
But yes, we do have the Hunter Seeker.
Wonder Drakias is asking, can you extract blood from enemies like they do in the movies?
Yes, you can indeed. It's you will be doing that a lot as you build your base, and you refine blood to actually use as water for things that you craft and also for hydration.
All right, let's see if I can get my question
at
answered.
the beginning, and then you kind of
all the way.
as you learn more secrets to the desert, you
Yeah,
might
exactly.
also learn a few more.
Yeah, you can even drink
improved.
blood.
Yes.
It will hydrate you, but there are some side effects.
Yeah, it's not super advised, but you can go. You can also, what I personally hate, you can also use Muad'Dibs and drink a little bit.
This
of
is
blood.
true. You
Tiny bit.
can harvest the Muad'Dibs as
Still
well.
hate
You
it.
do what
Not
you have to
okay.
do.
Not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. Just putting it out there right now.
Yeah, they just showed that.
Can you attack players of your same faction?
Yes, you can. So what I think I mentioned earlier is that in a group you won't do damage much to your friends in your group, but the people in your guild who may be attached to a faction, you can damage them when you're in a PvP area.
All right, that was it for today.
Damn.
Leo, again,
Okay,
thank you so
well,
much for your
I tried to
time
get my
and for
questions
sitting down
answered.
with us to chat about Dune Awakening. Super exciting. Thanks for answering questions. Thanks for talking about your segments as well. And thank you everyone for. This was like, oh, it shows ammunition. That's not that important,
What
but
the fuck?
it actually shows you when you have an opportunity. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thanks
Goodbye.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys. All right, y'all. Oops. Oop, maybe that's what caused it. Maybe I pressed the wrong button again. All right, y'all. There it is. June 5th. Over a 2 hour, almost 2 hours for a live stream for a game that's coming out soon. I really love how transparent Funcom is being with this. And it really bodes well, like, they would not be this transparent if they weren't really confident that they have a good game. And the fact that they're taking a little bit extra time, really that tells me that they want to make sure that there's no problems and that everybody loves it from the jump. So everyone definitely pre-order Dune Awakening. Like, I'm going to be going hard in this game the day it comes out on June 5th. I'm doing back-to-back 24-hour streams, so 72 hours in total. I'm going to do a 24-hour stream, sleep, 24-hour stream, sleep, 24-hour stream, sleep. And then I don't know what I'm going to do next. We might even go hard after that. We might even keep it going. I don't know, but we're going to really put some serious hours into this game right away. Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you all for being premium members. Make sure to like the stream, follow, subscribe, regardless of which platform you're on. If you're on Rumble, please make sure to follow. Make sure to follow. Subscribe if you're on YT. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Donate if you can. Other than that, hit the website, TACETMORT3M.com. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Catch you next time. Peace.